Okay, so you can see the structure of each session. I will first talk about the nature of the data, the structure of the data, and then you guys will understand what kind of questions you can analyze using the data we talk about in class. And we talk about the technology, either keyword search or machine learning. So this is how we structure each session. So we talk about this about 10K. So 10K, we talk about item 1, we talk about item 1A, we talk about item 7. So you guys know each item about. Item 1 is about the product description. Item 1A is about disclose risk. Item 7 is about discuss forward-looking information. We are not just talking about the nature of the data. We also talk about how exact question you can use. You can analyze using the data. We talk about the measuring competition using item 1A, and we talk about using also how to analyze item 7 as well. So this is kind of a structure for each session. Same for today. Today we are going to talk about different data set, which is AK. We talk about each item in AK and what's the regulatory change about AK, and we understand AK. That's the first step, the structure of the AK. And then the next step is how we analyze the AK to generate business insights, either for investors or for business managers. This is you see how we analyze all the data. We either use the data help investors to make investment decisions, or we help managers to make corporate decisions. So this is how we structure all the sessions. Talk about the data, talk about the nature of the data, talking about the technology, and talk about how we use the data to help investors, help managers. Hopefully you can see these AK items. So basically the idea here is AK is about material news of a firm. So how to define material? Any information that can affect stock returns effectively. Any information will affect earnings more than 1%. Any information will affect total assets more than 3% in a rough way. Okay, it's not a definite, in a rough way, in an estimated way, it will define material. So basically if the CEO go to lunch, that's not material information. Okay, if the CEO do something trivial, that's not material information. Material information should related to anything will significantly affects earnings or total assets, or stock market reaction. That will be a material information. It's difficult for managers to judge stock market reaction, but the manager can see how the events affects the future earnings and affects total assets. That part of information manager know. So that's how we define material information. So in a practice, a lot of information, including merger acquisition announcement, including contract, like the company made a supplying contract with some other firms, like a loan contract with some other firms, and including conference call, including product disclosure. So there's all kind of news. If that news will affect earnings and total assets significantly, will be defined as material news and will be have to mandate to disclose. Okay, here's the rule. Here's the rule, and here's the items. First rule I want to tell you is after 2006, the firms have to disclose the events within 4 days in the occurring date of the event. So for example, if a firm signed a contract today, if the contract is material, the firm has to disclose the contract within 4 days, starting from the date the contract is signed. 4 days. Okay, if the company wants to get a merger acquisition, they decide today. So the company has to announce the merger acquisition within 4 days from the day they decide to have a merger acquisition. So these are the 4 days announcement requirement. They have to disclose the material news within 4 days, starting from the day the event actually happened. That's the rule for the material information. And the game is changing. Okay, before 2006, it was 14 days. It was 14 days. So before 2006, the company has 14 days to file the news. But after 2006, it was 4 days to file the news. So there's a change. There's a change. The SEC want the company to be more timely when they report the news. So so basically before 2006 is 14 days. Now is 4 days. The SEC want more timely information. Want company to disclose more timely information. So this is about the change, about the AK disclosure. And we also look at different items here. Can you guys see the item 1.01, item 1.02, item 1.03, item? So what does that mean? This is the classification of the news. So for example, all the material contract, we're going to item 1.01. Any like a termination of a contract, we're going to 1.02. Any bankruptcy information, we're going to 1.03. Any earnings announcement, we're going to item 2.02. And this is when you file the news. You want to classify your news to different category, so investors will easily understand the nature of the news. And then this is also changing. This is also changing because before the 2006, there's no item 01 or item 02. You don't have that. You don't have that. And before the 2006, you don't have 2.03, 2.04, 2.05, 2.06. You don't have that. So what does that mean? That means That means 2006 SEC regulation changed the two things about AK. The first thing is moving the reporting period from 14 days to 4 days. The second thing the SEC changed is the classification of news. Before the 2006, the classification of news is very simple. There's only few categories of the news. After 2006, the SEC give more refined classification of the news. You can see the item like item 2.03, 2.04, 2.05, 2.0. So that's the two changes SEC made to make the AK reporting more informative to investors, make the reporting more informative, and make the news classification more refined. So you can see we add a lot of items after 2006. So that's the changes. That's the structure of the AK and the changes we have in 2006. So so let's look at more. So let's look at more items. So item 501 is about the changes in control of registrant. You can see that before the 2006, before the 2006 or 2004, I need to confirm that year. Before the 2006 or 2004, it was the item 5.01 is named as item 1. You see, so before the regulatory change, it was item 5.02. It was item 6. So you see the classification changes, right? You can see that like before, like right now, it was item 5.03. And then before is item 8. So before the 2004, 2006, I need to check the exact year. I think it's 2006 or 2004. Yeah. You can check the exact year. You can see that before the regulatory change, the news is classified into item A. After the after the regulatory change, the news was classified to item 5.03. That's how you can see the news classified in a different way. And also you can see that there's new items. So you can see that change of the service and trustee item 6.02. That one is new. Okay, so and you can see that this is item 7 is important. Item 7.01 is what we are going to talk about today. Item 7.01 and item 8.01, they are press release. The press release was in item 9 before the regulatory change. So after item 9, after regulatory change, you will be item 7.01, but before the regulatory change, it will be item 9. So you can see that's the rough classification. That's the rough classification. The idea is all the news are classified in the different categories. Some news classified to the contract news, some news classified as earnings announcement, some news classified as a material modification, some news classified as bankruptcy, some news classified as a press release. So this is the structure of the AK. This is the structure of the AK. So you need to understand the AK structure. You need to understand the structure. So we'll go over the structure together and know how to use the AK to analyze the firm information, and also how to use the tax analysis we did in the class to help investors and help managers. And another thing I want to talk about is the regulatory change. So what do we see right now is the classification of news now after regulatory change. Before the regulatory change, the news classification is different. Is in this column. This column is the classification of news before the regulatory change, and the reporting time is different. It's moving from 14 days to 4 days. So this is about overview structure of AK and the regulatory change. Let's look at item one by one. You can get a better idea. And then we'll talk about example how we use the AK information to help investors, to help managers. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. This simple item 1.01. Can you guys see? This is item 1.01. So this is a material contract. So so on this material contract, this is what contract with what? With loan, with a bank, with a bank. This is a Bank of America. And this is Amazon. So Amazon on September 5th, 2014, have a loan contract with the Bank of America, and they disclose the contract in the item 1.01. So these several things we repeated, right? Because this is a contract. So this news goes to 1.01. You guys should be very clear about that. Okay, so let's see what kind of information you can get from the contract. You can get a loan amount. The loan amount is $2 billion. That's enough for you guys, right? That's enough for everyone. That's $2 billion. And how about the period, the duration? 2 years, but it can be extended for additional 1 year, 3 additional years. You can see this is a loan contract summary. And what's the loan rate, the yield? It's about 0.625%. And also what's the loan is used for? The loan is used for working capital. You guys can see the loan is very different. This is credit agreement. what you guys see when the corporate borrow money, there's two types of borrowing. One is a credit agreement, which means they can use the money anytime they want. It's like a credit card. Another one is the fixed loan. The fixed loan is they get like $2 billion today and they can use that. So this is more of a credit type of loan. So basically the idea is that Amazon may not actually use the $2 billion. They just want the $2 billion available there. They want to use it, they just use the credit card. If they don't use it, $2 million is sitting there in the Bank of America. So this is still different from the commercial loan. The commercial loan is what? The the Amazon will get the $2 billion in the pocket. And then they will spend the $2 billion to the equipment, expansion, growth. We talk about a lot of growth. So there are two different loans here. The contract here is about the credit borrowing. So it's like a credit card, right? So it's like a credit card. So they may not use the $2 billion. They only use the $2 billion when they need. It's different from borrowing the commercial loan, which they have to get the $2 billion on their cash and the balance sheet. Recognize the liability, recognize the cash. It's different. Okay, does that make sense? So okay. So they also explain what's the loan for working capitals. Okay, another beautiful thing is you can get the whole loan contract in the exhibit. So this is like a brief summary of the loan contract. You can get the completely loan contract in the exhibit 10 point. The exhibit 10.01. That's the exactly loan contract. That's in the sometimes in the picture format. They take a shot of the contract and they load on the 10K, so you can see all the details. So what I'm saying is, what are you seeing here? It's just a summary of the loan contract. You can get the exact loan contract from exhibit 10.01. Okay, one question I want to raise here is, in a project 2, you guys need to extract the information from AK. Okay, and I don't need you guys to extract the exhibit 10.01 from the AK. However, if you guys really want to challenge yourself, you can do that. Okay, just that you want to know, for the project, my expectation is, as long as you can extract the 1.01, you can extract this summary from the AK, you'll be good. But some of you guys are, I feel like, really hardworking and excellent. If you want to also do some extra work, not just extract a 1.01, also get the exhibit, the full contract out, the 10.01 out, it's fine with me. Okay, just for your own practice, not for fulfill the requirement of this. Just if you want to do it for fun, do it, and it will be beneficial for you. It's a little bit challenge. It's a little bit challenge to get out the exhibit 10.01. That's why I don't require it. So as long as you guys can do the item 1.01, I'm happy. Okay, and as long as you can passing them out, I'm happy. But you can also do the exhibit on your own. So this is the item 01. It's about the material contract. So today the example here is about the credit agreement. We see a lot of summary information, and you can see the full contract in the exhibit 10.01. So let's keep moving. Let's keep moving on that. So this is another item 01 example. So basically, Google announced some deals with other companies. It's also like a material agreement. It's not a contract. It's agreement. It's a material agreement between Google and some other companies. So this is about 1.01. Basically, it's about either material contract or material agreement between the company and some other parties. So that's you guys can use that to do a lot of information. So for example, for the loan contract, what you can do, you can get a loan amount, you can get the duration, you can get the interest rate, You can get what they borrowed the loan for. You can get a full loan contract. But analyze the loan contract, you can see that is the contract really efficient? You can see that why the company is borrowing money. They are borrowing money for the working capital. They said here. But by analyze the information, you can understand the company's financial condition, right? Financial condition. If the company borrowing money to kind of pay salary, that's a very bad signal, right? If the company using the money to pay back salary, the company is doing very well. You know, normally salary is company have good cash flow for salary. If the company has to borrow money to pay salary, that's a very bad signal. That's a very bad signal. And also you can see the interest rate. If the interest rate is reasonable, that means what? That means the company is doing well. The Bank of America cannot charge too much for Amazon. But if you see if the interest rate is very high, that signals what? That signals the Bank of America think Amazon is very risky. So they want to charge a high interest rate for Amazon. That doesn't make sense. And also loan amount, $2 billion. Do they want to borrow a small money or big money? So what I'm trying to say here is all this information can do a lot of stuff, At the end of the day, in July, you guys need to come up with your own ideas. You guys only present ideas. I gave to you the data analytics examples I gave to you. That's today's session. But I want you guys to use this information to come up with your own ideas. How exactly you can analyze this information to help managers, to help investors to make decision making. Yeah, I think it's our presentation data is set. You can check the calendar. So how about you think about now, like I said, if they use the how do they use the loan for? Do they use the loan for working capital or salaries payment? How is the interest rate extremely high? If the interest is extremely high, that signals something bad. How much they are borrowing, how long they are borrowing, all this information you can get from textual analysis can help investors to understand the financial condition of Amazon and the financial health of Amazon. And this is something you have to think about now to use the information to generate some ideas for investors, for other companies' managers. Let's talk about another item 2.02. So what is 2.02 about? 2.02 is about the firm's performance, and it's about the firm's earnings announcement. So some of you may ask me one question: can we get the performance from the quarterly report or annual report? Why do we need the performance information from the AK 2.02? I don't know if you guys have that curiosity. Before I told you guys, let me repeat my question one more time. The item 2.02 is about firm's earnings, operational performance, the sum sales, cash flow, all these numbers. Are you guys wondering, we can get all this information from quarterly report. We can get all information from annual report. Why do we need to analyze AK to get these financial numbers? The answer is the numbers here are disclosed before quarterly report and annual report. Does that make sense? Yeah, does it make sense? So basically what I'm saying here is we can, of course, we can get the information from annual report and the quarterly report, but did I told you guys the 4 days rule? So if they know the information, they should disclose within 4 days. So the financial numbers here, what you see here, are disclosed before the quarterly report and annual report. So you will know this information more timely if you look at AK comparing to you looking at the quarterly report. So let's look at some examples here. Okay. They disclose information about free cash flow, They disclose information about net income. They disclose net sales. They disclose information about net blah blah operating income. So it's not a complete. It's not a complete quarterly report. It's not a complete annual report. It's not complete. But at least you know some important number here way before the annual report is announced, way before the quarterly report is announced. So, and also you can see that the format here is they also put the information in exhibit. So this is sometimes the challenge of the AK information. For the AK, if you really analyze AK, you need to not just analyze the item 2.02, you need to analyze the exhibit that attach to 2.02. So this is the two things I want to talk about the 2.02. First, the financial information here is more timely than financial information from quarterly report, annual report. Second, a lot of information is not in 2.02. A lot of information is actually in the exhibit. So you have to, when you analyze this, when you do textual analysis, you have to go to actually exhibit 99.1 because this is from exhibit 99.01. So basically, you have to do the textual analysis on 2.02, and then you identify which exhibit is relevant. Here, the relevant exhibit is exhibit 99.1 and the exhibit 99.2. So, and then you go to the exhibit 99.01 to get the information to analyze the firm condition. Okay, that's the two things I want to talk about 2.02. More timely information, and also you need to go to the exhibit in most of the case to analyze the condition. So let's see another example here. The same here, right? Same here. If you want to analyze the information of 2.02, you have to go into exhibit 99.01. And so when you do the textual analysis, you have to go to the 2.02 first to get the information, and then you can identify, oh, this is about exhibit 9902, and then you go to the 1902 to get the earnings release of the Starbucks, and then you can get the information from exhibit. So this is this is the in the textual analysis. When you guys do that, you guys do the step by step to get the exhibit number first, and then you go to the exhibit. So this is about item 2.02, and then this is about the Starbucks. So basically, when you click, so basically you go to the 2.02, and you know this is exhibit 9901, and then you click the 9901 exhibit. This is what you see. This is you see the earnings, you see the sales, you see the GAAP and non-GAAP, you see a lot of stuff here. This is more timely than quarterly and annual report. Okay, let's keep going. So what is the item 7.01 and 8.01? So both 7.01 and 8.01 is about the firm's material news that is not disclosed in the previous category. So you can see that the each category each category has the information. This is material news, this is merger acquisition. So 7.01 and 8.01 is if there's something that is not classified in the above items, you can put a 7.01 or 8.01. So you put it in two items. So basically, any news that are not classified in the previous categories, we're going to 7.01 and 7.02. So that's the rule for the 7.1 and 8.01. And so what's the difference between the 7.01 and 8.01? The difference is if the company disclose the news on their website or some other event, so they have to disclose the news again in the 7.01. So basically, if the news was disclosed in some other venues, sometimes CEO's conversation, sometimes in the website, sometimes the TV interview. So if the firm disclosed the news somewhere else, they have to disclose the news again in the 7.01. So why is that? The reason is because the Reg FD require a firm to make the news available to everyone instead of to a small group of people. So if the company, if the CEO did some interview at the CNBC and the company will disclose the news again in the item 7.01, just make sure the news is not only available for CNBC audience, is available for all SEC investors, all the people after they file SEC filings. So that's the for 7.01. So what is 8.01? 8.01 is any news not is classified in the previous categories. We are going to 8.01. 8.01. But I just want to warn you guys, when the company file 7.01 and 8.01, they are also confused. They don't know what's the difference. So you can see that they messed up. Okay, in the practice, companies messed up. So when you guys become excellent accountant or corporate financial managers, when you go to when you file firms, you need to know there's a difference between the 7.01 and the 8.01. The 7.01 is if the news disclosed somewhere else, and the company wants to disclose news again in the SEC filing to make sure the news is available for everyone. That's the purpose of the 7.01. That's the purpose of a Reg FD, which means the news should not be available to a small group of people. The news should be available for the whole market. That's why the 7.01 company needs to disclose the news one more time in the 7.01 to make sure available to everyone. So 8.01 is any other news, which is not classified in the previous categories, we're disclosing 8.01. One more, just let you guys know, companies that are confused about 7.01 and 8.01. Sometimes they messed up. They just put the news in the 7.01. They put news in the 8.01. They just messed up. That doesn't matter, okay? Doesn't matter. Just get you know, in the practice, 7.01 and 8.01, they're kind of very similar. Like they don't, because the companies file the news, categorize news, they don't distinct the two categories. The news in the 7.01 and 8.01 looks very similar. So that's the 7.01. That's the 7.01. And so what do we have? Okay, so you can see that the same thing happening here. You want to get the news, you have to go to the exhibit. So you have to go to the exhibit. That's if you want to get news, you have to go to exhibit. Same thing what we see before. Okay, so this is the exhibit. So what's the news about? The news about two things. News about the Starbucks changed their leadership. They have some leadership changes, and also Starbucks talking about strategical business goals and the position Starbucks as some strategy change about Starbucks. So because the news was not classified in any of the previous categories, that's why the company filed the news here. So basically the news here is about the leadership change. The news here is about the strategy change about Starbucks. So the question you guys can think here is, using the textual analysis, how do you exactly use the information to help investors know more about Starbucks? And how you use the textual information, you can help Starbucks competitors, competing companies managers know about Starbucks. Okay, I keep encourage you guys to think about how exactly you can use this news, the employment change, the leadership change, the new strategy of Starbucks. How do you use this textual information to help Starbucks investors? How do you use the information to help Starbucks competing firms managers to understand the Starbucks more? So this is the news from the, And you guys did the conference call, right? You guys did the conference call. So conference call is actually included in item 7.01. 7.01. Why is that? So you can see that that conference call fits the nature of the regular FD. So today I had a conference call with the investors, and then maybe the conference call is only to the small audience, only to the people who is online right now. I don't want the information just only available for the audience who are on site today, or on my meeting. I want the information to be available to everyone. So that's why the firms need to file conference call in their item 7.01 to make sure the information in the conference call is not only available for the people who attend the conference call, it's available for everyone else on the market. That's how you can find the conference call. You can pass in the passing from the item 7.01. Let me repeat it one more time. Why the conference call is in item 7.01? The reason is because the company do not want the conference call information is only available to the people who attend the conference call. They want the conference call to be available to everyone in the market. So that's why they file the conference call immediately after the conference call to item 7.01, so everyone can see the contents of the conference call. Someone, you asking me question, why you guys want to get a conference call from the Seeking Alpha website, not from the AK item 7.01? It doesn't make any difference. You can get a conference call transcript from the Seeking Alpha website. You can also get the conference call from the AK form. The only thing is that it's easier to from the Seeking Alpha, because the conference call you have to go to the exhibit. You have to pass in the exhibit out, so it's more painful to do that, do the textual, to do the passing. But versus Seeking Alpha is relatively more friendly, more easier. So that's why the in the project the conference call files you guys get is from Seeking Alpha. It's easier to process the conference call from the Seeking Alpha. That's why you guys doing that. But you guys can actually do the conference call, get the conference call from the AK item 7.01. You can get the exhibit, and then you can do the same thing. You can get the CEO presentation. You can get the CEO's answers. You can get the investors' questions. So basically what I'm saying is you can get a conference call transcript either from the Seeking Alpha website and the AK item 7.01. The reason I give you Seeking Alpha, because easier. I told you guys, everything. I want to keep things simple, right? I want to keep things simple. So this is about the data source. This is about item 7.01. And another thing is about item 8.01. At this stage, I'm sure you guys understand 8.01 by now. So any news that is not classified in the previous classification, we are going to 8.01. You know what interesting to me is the 7.01 and 8.01, they have a lot of news there. There are a lot of news because there are a lot of news cannot be classified. The company has some material news. Some has a lot of news that cannot be classified in the previous categories. So actually the item 7.01 and the item 8.01 contains a huge variety of news that you can analyze. You can do data analytics. You can help investors. You can help managers. So what I'm trying to say here is the news that is going to item 7.01 and 8.01. The news volume is huge. There are a lot of firm news going to the item 8.01 and 7.01. You can analyze that to help investors, to help managers. So let's look at an example here. So what's the item 8.01 news here? This is about the retirement of the the CEO, and also the company has some new strategy of business segment. So you can get that from exhibit. So you can see you need an exhibit. You need to go to exhibit. So if you go to the AK 8.01, if you go to the AK 8.01, and then you can get You can get the summary of the news. The summary of news is about retirement. The summary of news is about there's a new global segment strategies, and then if you want to find detailed information, you have to go to the exhibit 99. You have to get exhibit 99. So when you do text analysis, you do the same thing. You go to the item 8.01, and then you can get a summary of the news. And then if you want detailed news, you have to pass exhibit 99 out to analyze detailed news. So this is the details of the news. You can see that someone is retiring, and we have the new business segments. We have the business segments. So what else? What else is in the 8.01? You can see the stock repurchase news. That's also in the 8.01. So that's guys said, a lot of news, a lot of different type of news. We're going to item 8.01. You can analyze for investors and the managers. And then this is another type of news we'll talk about today. The company also will talk about the product, the future product. So this is the company called Cummins. So what does Cummins produce? Cummins produce engines. They produce engines. So what you guys, I don't know if a lot of you guys like BMW, you guys like Mercedes-Benz. You only know the Mercedes-Benz. But do you know the Mercedes-Benz engine actually produced, a lot of them actually produced by the Cummins, because the Cummins is the one of the three most powerful engine manufacturing in the world. So they provide engines to a lot of companies, Mercedes-Benz, some companies important. So the news here is the Cummins, the engine manufacturers, they disclose their future engines. They disclose it. They want to say, oh, this is the future design of the engine. You see, this is some parameter, some information is about what's the engine for, what's the parameters for, blah blah blah. They disclose a lot of information about the product, about the engine they want to produce in 2 or 3 years. So one question you guys can understand is why they want to do so. So why they want to disclose the information, the engine information to the market. One they want to give the design of their product. Now the product will be produced in 2 or 3 years, and in the article you can see that they give all the details information about the engine. So they tell you how the engine is designed, how the engine is, the parameters of the engines. They tell you how exactly the function of the engine, and also there's another important thing is the carbon the carbohydrate emission, the emission. So because we have to control for the emission of the air pollution, for the air pollution. So they talk about all this kind of information about a product. So one question you can think about is the managers, when they disclose this information, the product design of the future product, they have a trade-off, they have a mindset. They have to consider two things. The first thing is they want the Mercedes-Benz know about this new product, so the Mercedes-Benz can buy more this engine for Mercedes-Benz in the future, right? On one side, they want to do that. On the other side, the companies are worried because if they disclose this future product with the competitors copycat this product, with the competitors kind of mimic these products in the market, they will hurt their market shares. They will hurt the design of the new product. So you see that when managers disclose this kind of future design of these engines, they have like a trade-off. They are debating. On the one side, they want Mercedes-Benz to know this, so Mercedes-Benz can buy more about these engines. On the other side, they don't want their competitors know about this design, because if no competitors know design, they can copy it. They can copycat it. They can mimic it. So there's a lot of huge debate going on in the managers. Also, managers also want the investors know this, right? If investors know Kermis are having such a wonderful engines that is designed in an advanced way, the stock price will rise, right? Stock price will rise. So this is the debate managers are having right now. On the one side, the managers want the Mercedes-Benz know about the product, future product. The companies want the investors know about the future product, because these people will buy more stocks, will buy more products. The company's manager want these people to know about the future design of the product. And on one side, the companies worry about whether the product, if they disclose it, the competitors will learn about it, will hurt the product market share in the future. So this is something you guys can do data analytics about. Can you help the manager make the decisions? If I'm a Kermis manager, I said, hey, come on, Joe, I'm debating. Should I disclose this to have Mercedes-Benz to buy more engine to make an investor happy, or should I hide the information? Because if I disclose it, my competitors will make a similar product, hurts me. So Joe, can you help me? Can help me make a decision. So this is something you guys can do using the textual analysis, using the empirical analysis to understand the idea. So we will talk about this idea just using the new examples after the break. After break, we'll talk about the managers debate, how managers debate on disclose the information for Mercedes-Benz and the investors. At the same time, managers worry about the information will be copycatted by the competitors. So after the break, we will talk about the examples in details. So the idea here is I give you guys so much information about AK. The AK has item 1, 1.01, 2.02, where AK has 8.02. We have all this kind of user information. The idea here is now you understand the structure of the data. Now I want you guys to understand the example, how we can do data analytics using these textual information, how you can use the information to help investors, to help the managers to make a decision. Should I disclose the product information now to make a Mercedes-Benz and investor happy, or should I hide the information now to prevent myself from being copycatted by the competitors? So I want you guys to understand the example, just one example, how you can use the data to help investors, to help managers to make decisions. And like I said, I don't want you guys to always talk about the example I gave to you. I want you guys to come up with the idea you can use the data to help investors, to help managers. Now we are keeping talking about examples I give to you. This is how we can use AK information. This is how we can use 10K information. We are keeping talking about our examples, the examples I gave to you. I want you guys keep thinking about, can you use the data, use the information to come up with some ideas to help managers to make decisions, help investors to make decisions, and what type of decisions you want to help with managers. So here, you want to help managers to make disclosure decisions. You want to help managers to make whether they should disclose the future product information now, or should hold the information for a little bit. That's the decision you are helping managers to make. But can you use the information to help managers to make some other decisions? And how use the information? These are all the stuff I want you guys to think about. So this is basically, this is before the break. This is a summary. We know the structure of the AK. We know what's the AK's information. And after the break, you guys will see the example how we use the AK information to actually help the managers to make disclosure decision. Should I disclose or should I hold a little bit? And we'll talk more about after the break. So